turn it up in the headphones a little bit, please? Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to Behind the Vines. Today we'll be breaking down Adam Levine featuring Roberto and Jay Hill. First, Jared went into the booth and recorded down a nice drum groove. Then I mixed it, bounced it, and sampled it, and turned it into a drum break chop that you'll now be hearing. This drum groove ended up having a contrast of a walking pace but also aggressive nature. So I added some drum samples to emphasize the pocket of the drums. After doing this, I thought, hey, we need to add some vocal samples. So I went through my sample library and I found the perfect fit. After this, I thought it needed some texture, so I pulled out my keyboard and added a nice pad. This pad was a nice contrast between vocal samples and the drums, so I decided to add in another secondary pad to help bring out the royal nature of the first pad. All together with what we have so far, it would sound like this. Only thing we were missing now was a solid bass, so I decided to add in a nice synth bass to fill out the low end of the track. As Roberto began to write his verse, I decided to loop the section and add in some twinkles to kind of build the track. The first one I added in was the honky-tonk piano. Once I got that sound together, I decided on a West Coast clavichord type feel, and this is what it sounds like. The next thing we added was the cry lead. It really brought the verse home. So next, we went to the chorus. I pulled up one of my patches and came up with this accordion-esque pattern. Jay Hill was really feeling this section, so I decided to add in a lead and a bass to add some counterpoint to what was already going on. With these additions, we thought it was pretty much good, so we just added the snare in from the verse. As Jay Hill and I were working on the hook, he came up with this idea that he didn't like very much, but ended up making it to the record.
It's getting hard to sleep, can't turn on the news and startle me. It's getting hard to breathe, they don't hear it, gonna just Adam Levine.
Jay Hill was kind of skeptical about this idea, but I advocated that we needed to keep this because this was going to make the track. The next thing we went to was Jay Hill's verse. We thought that we needed some differentiation because Jay Hill and Roberto just have two different aesthetics. So first, I copied over the drums and added a couple more drum hits. Then I went to work and did some magic and came up with the verse loop. All I had to do was slap on some bass. The next section we came up with ended up being the outro. I ended up pitching down the intro and came up with this.
It's optional.
J Hill decided he wanted to add some harmonies to the chorus. We decided to put this in the outro as well. This idea had a strong 808s and heartbreak aesthetic, so I decided to add in some auto-tune and reverb to really bring out the inner Kanye. At this point, I decided that we probably couldn't have the same groove for all of J Hill's verse, so I decided to come up with the wonky chop. This section was pretty much done. I ended up adding in some more drums and a 4 on the floor kick. And then with the chop, it would sound like this. After this, we did a few arrangement things and then recorded the vocals and the track was done. This is Adam Levine featuring J Hill and Roberta.
Name, and I better see them shits when I look in the streaming credits. J Hill cause for excitement. Need that like.
Thank you for tuning in to our first Behind the Vines. Please subscribe and we'll see you soon.